Personal FX visits Cedar Crest, New Mexico for a collection of seltzer bottles. And Barbara bears it all for Broadway. Catch it next on Personal FX. It's that time. Personal FX, the Collectible Show. Welcome, everybody.
And John, today there is a Star Trek item in the apartment. I don't know if it's up for sale, but our appraisers are looking at it right now. Kathy Maurer and Rich Zelichowski, we're putting you to work already.
And, you know, before we get started today, we should update everybody on what happened with the lyrics to Candle in the Wind 1997, which is the song that Elton John sang at Princess Diana's funeral. Did you hear about this?
I heard about it.
Yeah, they were auctioned last night at Christie's in Los Angeles, and they went for $442,500. Wow. And did you hear who purchased them?
Who purchased it?
It is the daughter of Walt Disney, Sharon Disney Lund, and it's going to benefit the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles. So it's a win-win for everybody.
I love when that happens, win-win.
Yeah.
And also, if you really want something, you've got the pocketbook for it, you can have it.
You can have it. Let's get started. What do you say? All right, out in Cedar Crest, New Mexico, that is the spot of today's super collector of seltzer bottles. Let's take a look.
I am in the midst of a virtual rainbow of color, and they all belong to our super collector, Dwayne Davenport. Hi, Dwayne. Thanks for having us.
Hi, Angela. Thank you.
So I understand your collection began with these glass insulators. How did you get from that to the glass seltzer bottles?
Well, Angela, I started out collecting about 30 years ago with glass insulators, and finally got to a point where I thought I had about everything I wanted in variety of color, and I wanted to go into something else that also had a variety of color, and started with the seltzers, which I always admired.
And you actually have a bottle that you got in high school.
Yes, I sure did.
Tell us about this.
Certainly. This is one from my hometown. It was given to me by my piano teacher. She knew I was into collecting old bottles and insulators, and she gave this to me, and I didn't know what to make of it because it was so beautiful.
And this began it all.
Yes.
Well, later on in the show, we're going to take you through this beautiful collection of glass seltzer bottles.
All right, that's going to be great because being that colorful, that makes them that much more rare. And you see all these wonderful people over here? These are people that are about to have their items appraised. But Claire Carter, I think you have our first victim today.
Jamie is our very first guest. Hi, Jamie. Nice to have you here. Rich Zelichowski, you're poring over this. You brought in a Star Trek item I have a feeling is desirable to Trekkies.
Yeah. There's plenty of figures. There's 3 of the original villains. It's from the original show before the next incarnation of it. And
where'd you get it?
It's my brother's, actually. It's from when he was a kid, and we've been keeping it, and finally he decided he wanted to see if he could sell it.
Okay.
So.
Great.
Is this a very collectible item for Star Trek
It is
fans?
quite collectible, and what's desirable about it is its completeness, as you said. It was put out by Mego right about 1974, and it is the original cast. You've got 8 original figures, including 3 of the villains, and actually a lot of the price in this is going to come because of the villains. Oftentimes, and I don't know why, the bad guys are always more desirable than the good guys.
They're more interesting.
They are more interesting. They're alien, they're exotic, therefore
I would imagine it's hard to find complete because missing pieces over the years.
Exactly, and these characters all even have their weapons or I believe they were called transcorders or transponders.
Like that,
they're little communication devices, and all these little pieces tend to be the first thing lost, obviously, through play, or the dog ate it, or things happen.
Her
like
brother
that.
took pretty good care to keep all
He did
these
take
pieces.
care, and my commendations go to him. The only one little flaw, and it's a minor flaw, and perhaps you can find a piece, is over here we've got what was the transporting device. You would put a doll in and spin it around, and somehow he would disappear. It's missing the small little button here, but that they might even sell reproductions of that, or you can fake it with something else.
What would this sell for?
Value on it, I'm going to be conservative today and say $700.
Wow. Wonderful.
And it's going up for sale. You already told me that.
Yes.
Okay. Our bid line number is 212-802-0082. If you want to bid online, it's faster, it's even cheaper. www.fx.com fxcable.com, that is. And John, I'm going to predict conservatively, we're going to get a bunch of bids on this.
Boy, I tell you, is there anything of Star Trek that is not collectible?
I don't think so. I
It
don't
all
think that
is.
exists. Even the new stuff seems to be hot.
It's all collectible. All right, Bill has joined us to have something appraised. Hi, Bill. How you doing?
Hi, fine.
Nice to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Glad to be here.
What you got?
I have a cast iron stand-up bank, circa 1900. That was my mother's when she was a child.
No kidding.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
Very nice, very nice. This is an example of what we refer to as a still bank, as compared to perhaps a mechanical bank or a registering bank. A still bank doesn't have any moving parts. We just enjoy it as it is in its form. This is very nice. Nice little St. Bernard. His little strap here reads, "I hear a call." Okay, so he's very on his duty. And we see here that it is, copyrighted July 20th, 1900.
Boy, you know, it always seems like you see these banks, they look old and they're always reproductions, but this is the real thing, huh?
This is the real thing. And you're right, John, the thing to look out for when buying or collecting banks is reproductions. They are everywhere.
Yeah.
And there's really only one reproduction line that's really collectible is the Book of Knowledge Bank. They made mechanical banks, and those are collected now because they're already 50 years old.
Interesting.
But this,
So what do you think?
this is very nice. Very nice. Again, it is original. This is the smaller of the two sizes that Williams made of this particular model bank.
Interesting.
Yes, and this bank, there are a lot of regional differences in the prices of cast iron banks. So I would have to say this would be worth $80 to $120.
$80 to $120.
Yeah, given the regional differonces. Here
Okay.
on the East Coast, we see a lot of them, but
All right.
other places they're rare.
What do you think, sir? You want to take some bids?
Sure.
We have the means.
I'm
We'll
up
do
to it.
All right. We'll see what. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
Bring
you.
that by. All right. Richard is up next now to have something to praise. Hi, Richard. How you doing?
Good, John. How about yourself?
Good, good. Hey, what do you got there?
Well, I brought along a 2-volume set of the first family album. That came out when Kennedy was in the White House. The first volume, I believe, everybody had in the United States at one point. But the second volume, I feel, is fairly rare. It was pulled from the shelves shortly before Kennedy was assassinated in 1963.
Okay. And then the third album is a takeoff of the other two.
Correct.
Okay. Well, the first thing Von Meter, and he was the that this particular first album is very available. In fact, you can find it just anywhere that you're looking for it. Perhaps this one is a little more rare. Von Meter's celebrity kind of ended with the assassination of President Kennedy, unfortunately, and we can enjoy these albums and hear his voice on them.
Well, it does sound like this is much more rare.
It would have to be. I would
Okay.
expect so, especially if it's true that it had been pulled from the shelves. Yes.
What about the third one over there?
The third one I really don't know a whole lot about, but it is interesting, and what is really nice about it is that it is in its original packaging.
Unlike the other two.
Correct, exactly.
All right.
And so I would say that each of these, this would probably be the least valuable, probably like $5 to $7 at the most, okay? And this probably 10 to 12, and this would probably be in the range as the first one, considering that it is not Von Meter.
So we're around $25 for the
For
three?
the three of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think, sir? You want to take some bids?
Absolutely.
We'll do it for you. Thank you very
Thank
much
you.
for bringing us by. Appreciate that. All right, Claire, what's the next one?
Well, we're going to batter up because Kenny has brought in a baseball bat. Hi, Kenny. Welcome
how
to
are
the
you?
program.
Thank you.
Tell everybody what makes this bat special.
Well, it's an autographed commemorative bat of Stan the Man Musial, one of the best ball players of all time, and it's the actual size and weight of the bat was made to his specs, and it has his little number here on the side that the company would know.
And how did
that
you
it's his
come to
bat.
own it? I see you brought a picture
I
with
brought
you.
a picture. It was given to me as a gift when I was living in North Carolina. Somebody told me that they were his neighbor and they knew I collected and said they would get it for me. And I
Nice.
got it.
Rich, take it away.
Very nice to have something to support the fact that he signed the bat. This is indeed a commemorative bat for Stan Musial. Stan Musial probably defined the word St. Louis Cardinals. He played for them for some 23 seasons, which in today's, ball playing is impossible. It's unheard of. It doesn't happen anymore. He was a superstar. He led the league in batting 7 times, and each of those years and his batting averages are noted on this bat. The bat's made by Louisville slugger Hilrich and Bradbury out of Kentucky, one of the prominent bat makers ever.
Any idea how many of these commemorative bats were?
Well, you have to realize that Stan Musial is still alive, and he does autograph shows and such on a regular basis. Musial, for his autograph, generally charges around $50 for a flat. That means a card or an autograph or a picture.
So for a baseball?
For a baseball bat, or something large, it goes up to about $100 to $150 depending on the event. The bats, there could be 100 of them out there, Claire. There could be 10,000 of them. We really don't know. Generally, a piece like this on a retail market, dealers are asking about $200 for. So that's the going rate of something like this.
Well, we'll give you the option to put it up for sale or keep it. What would you like to do?
I'll entertain bids.
Okay, thank you so much for bringing the bat in today.
Thank you very much for having me.
And now let's go to the collector's update.
Alrighty, if you're going to be in Nashville, Tennessee, or around that area this weekend, we have something for you to do. It is called the Heart of Country Antique Show. And take a look at this. Now, there's going to be 200 dealers selling a broad range of Americana, including unusual items with a southwestern flair. Now, among some of the other items that are going to be up for sale are quilts, wall hangings, and doll houses. And that all happens this weekend in Nashville, Tennessee. Again, it is called the Heart of Country Antique Show. If you need more information, specifically where it is and stuff like that, give us a call here at the show, and we'll tell you everything you need to know. In other news, specifically according to auctions, right now Swan Galleries is holding a medicine, natural history, science, and gastronomy auction. And the gastronomy portion of the auction actually features items that include menus, cookbooks, and other related rare ephemera. So let's take a look at some of this stuff. As a matter of fact, what you can buy, the 1887 book, The Bartender's Guide, or How to Mix All Kinds of Plain and Fancy Drinks, 60 to 90 bucks. Then there's a first edition copy in Italian of the first European book on chocolate from 1967, pre-sale estimate $400 to $600. And then there's a lot of 4,000 menus from the 1940s and 50s from restaurants and hotels in North America. The pre-sale estimate on that lot is $1,500 to $2,500. And if you look closely, you would see that back then you could get a prime rib for $2.75. Boy, those were the days. Stay with us when Personal FX returns. We've got some items to be appraised right here in our very own apartment, as well as some items out in New Mexico. So don't go anywhere.
They only come out at night. They drink human blood. Agent Mulder never believed in vampires, but now he'll be seduced by one.
I'll do things with you no one's ever done.
Don't miss The X-Files, tonight at 8, 7 Central on FX.
To get the extra fiber you need to help you stay regular, you should choose Citracel. If you read those labels, you'll see Citracel is different. Fiber powders like Metamucil contain psyllium that can ferment in your system to initially produce gas. There's one exception, Citracel. Its special fiber doesn't produce excess gas. So what's your choice? Psyllium or Citracel? Citracel, effective relief without the gas.
What do you think of this color, Snuggle? Oh, pretty. How do you like this one? Blue is nice.
Introducing Snuggle Fabric Softener with Color Protector. It helps care for colors with all the same softness and freshness. New Snuggle with Color Protector.
Thanks, Snuggle.
Right now, you can borrow up to $150,000 with a no-equity second mortgage and pay absolutely no closing costs. You could buy rental property, jump on a hot stock, join a country club, whatever you want. Just call 1-800-71-FIXED. With your good credit, Ditech can help you to leverage the full value of your home and loan you up to $150,000 on a no-equity second mortgage with absolutely no closing costs. It all adds up to smart money from Ditech Funding. Call now, 1-800-71-FIXED.
For Pete-Light. My Pete-Light. My Pete-Light. My Pete-Light.
Never thought you'd hear kids asking for Pedialyte? Introducing improved flavor Pedialyte from the #1 choice of pediatricians for helping prevent dehydration from diarrhea, but now with one very noticeable difference.
More Pedialyte, please.
New great tasting Pedialyte in grape and bubblegum flavors.
Hey, could you shut your lid?
Well, what for? I'm using Vanish Blue.
Yeah, well, too bad your germs didn't vanish.
Huh?
You need new improved Clorox Automatic. With so much Clorox bleach, it kills 99.9% of germs with every flush.
New Clorox Automatic Toilet Cleaner.
Time to tell you about some late bids from yesterday's show. We had Jerry on with a Navajo blanket that was appraised for $550. Well, Cody from Marysville, Washington bid $675, and Jerry said, I'll think about it. And then out in New Mexico, Puka's ring was appraised for $125, and Jan from Ventura, California bid $265, and Puka said no sale. And also in New Mexico, Susan's Picasso plate was appraised for $850. Larry from Beatrice, Nebraska served up a bid of $2,850, and Susan said, I'll think about it, and that was a great plate. And Maria's joining us with something that Kathy is looking at right now.
It's so neat.
Oh, how nice. Do we have some tea or chocolate? What do we do with this?
I think you could serve either.
Tell us about it.
Yeah. We received it in 1957. My sister's mother-in-law went over to Germany to visit her family, and she brought back this, and there are 5 cups and 6 saucers. When we got it back here in the States, 1 cup was shattered.
Oh, what a
shame.
shame.
And they couldn't get another cup because the factory had been bombed or burned down during the war, and the designer of the set had died. So all these years, it's been in my china cabinet, and we've had 5 cups and 6 saucers, and
it's time to find out more about it, Kathy. Enlighten us.
Okay, well, this is a Bavarian set, and Bavaria was a porcelain and china making center in Germany around the turn of the century and before. However, this would be after the turn of the century. We know that because of this very deco-ish styling.
Kathy, were there some very well-known designers at that time that would add to the value of a set like this?
This mark is unfamiliar to me. Entwerf, Curl, I'm really not sure what specific information there would be about that. But I think what's important here, there were so many makers, and I wouldn't know that they were any more important one than the other.
Tell me something, is that a little mushroom on top of that? What is that?
This is a wonderful little candle holder.
Oh.
Isn't that nice? And the smoking accessories as well, so you'd have light that you could serve your tea by.
How
and
much
smoke your
today would
cigarettes.
something like this run?
I would say we'll just consider that there would be 4 perfect cups and saucers, okay? And the rest of what we see here, I would say something like 150 to 200.
Okay.
Popular styling.
What do you think? Would you like to put it up for sale?
I'll try. Sure.
Okay, we'll do
Thank
that.
you.
Sorry, that 1 cup and saucer
Yeah.
shattered. That's
Well,
a shame.
no, the saucer
Just
is
the
still
saucer.
intact. The
Oh,
cup
it is just the cup.
gone.
Okay. And if you're interested in buying anything that's up for sale, our number is 212-802-0082, and you can also bid online at www.fxcable.com. But out in Cedar Crest, New Mexico, Dave has something for us to appraise. Let's go check it out.
Hi, bowl today that was a gift from my wife, an original bowl that was given to her some 15 years ago. We believe it's possibly from Japan. It has a mark on the bottom that we have no idea what it is, and I would like to have an appraisal on it today and take bids if possible.
Kathy, does that mark tell you it's from Japan, or what does it tell you?
I would say that it is a Japanese ware. However, I am not familiar with all of those Japanese or Chinese marks. But I believe that this is an Amari style bowl. And I believe he'll show us the inside so we can see the panels that are decorated each individually in a naturalistic scene.
And how is it done?
It is a ceramic ware and then hand painted and glazed over the painted design. And it's quite lovely. And these large size export pieces are always popular, useful, decorative, and wonderful to have.
Larger the size, larger the value?
Yes, indeed.
So
Absolutely.
something like this would run?
I would say about $400. And that's probably conservative, probably wholesale. I think at a retail establishment, you could probably figure double that.
Okay, if you can find it.
Right, that's right.
That's always the case. John, what do you have next?
Well, let's ask Rhoda, who has joined us. Hi, Rhoda. How you doing?
Hi.
Nice to see you. What'd you bring?
This is a Lotus Ware biscuit jar. I know that Lotus Ware was made in Ohio between 1890 and 1900.
Okay.
And that's what I know.
All right.
You did your research well. This indeed is known as Lotus. I'm going to flip the bottom over and show the mark. It's got KTK, which stands for Knowles, Taylor, and Knowles, which started in East Liverpool, Ohio back in 1854, and were in business all the way up until 1931 when the Depression caused them to go under. They made what was known as Lotus Ware, which was a very delicate, highly artistic art pottery. These pieces generally, as you said, were 1890s, early 1900s. They were quite popular because they were very dainty and elegant to look at. This particular pattern is referred to as the fishnet pattern. Obviously so, because you've got what looks like a fish net in several panels surrounding some transfer floral ware. It was popular, but was discontinued after about 15 years because it was so delicate that people were having a hard time keeping pieces in one piece. They were easily chipped and shattered. But it's a very nice example of an early biscuit jar in good condition. I just want to point out one little flaw with it, and it's going to be in the obvious place, just a little bit of chip wear right under here. But if you're going to have any kind of damage, this is where you want to put it, because you can always set the lid toward the back side of the jar. The jar in mint condition is probably going to be worth somewhere in the neighborhood of $750 to $1,000. With a little bit of damage, I'm going to set that back to about $500 to $550.
Still not bad. Rhoda, do you want to take bids?
Sure do.
We'll do it for you. Thank you very much
Thank you.
for bringing that by. Boy, damage really does just a little bit of matter.
It does, because people who are paying for high-end items are really going to be finicky, John.
Sure.
They want the best.
Sure, that's a nice item, though. Janice is up next. Janice, come on in. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. Life's treating you okay?
Yeah.
Glad to hear it. Have a seat. Tell us what you got.
Thank you. That's a Rolls razor that belonged to my fiance's father. Probably got it from his father. It's been in the family.
It's got the box.
That's right. And this is one of
directions.
And it's
And the
one of the more popular razors that were around. This piece probably dates back to the 19-teens, 1920s, and it does have the original box with the instructions. Now, the way these worked is you had the razor here where you can shave, and it always came apart. You could loosen, take this handle off, put it back inside, turn, and then what this does is you can actually sharpen the blade. The blade can be reused. And what you would do is always sharpen in that direction. People are often sharpening blades in this direction. You actually put the blade away from you when you sharpen, and this sort of helps you do that. So generally, you could do a lot of traveling and never really have to change razors, because this was always convenient and always kept your razor sharp. They stopped making these over in England right around just before the war. They sort of dropped off in production. This one is in excellent shape. A lot of them you find today are in good shape. For some reason, after disposables and a lot of the high-tech inventions started coming out in the 1950s and such, these fell out of favor. You do find a lot, the collectible value, it's not all that high. I'm going to be conservative and say about $25 to $35 generally is what these are selling for.
Okay, well, what do you think? Do you want to take some bids?
Sure, I'll take some bids.
All right, we'll do that for you. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Well, it's kind of a complicated contraption, isn't
Yeah.
it? It's nothing like disposable. You just throw that thing away and get a new one. Jane is up next. Jane, come on in. How you doing?
Fine, thanks. How are you?
Good, good. What do you have here?
I have a Wedgwood Coronation Commemorative Sugar Bowl from Edward VIII's coronation that never took place.
All right.
Edward VIII, quite famous in the history of British royalty. If we had journalism and tabloids back then, John, they would have had a field day with Edward VIII. Seems Edward VIII fell in love with an American woman, which was a taboo. The fact that she was married didn't really help either. But eventually, he ascended to the throne of England, and less than a year later abdicated the throne in 1936 to marry the American woman Wallis Simpson. She wasn't divorced yet when they were together and having their amorous relationship. So Lord knows if the tabloids are around, this story would have been all over the place. It's a nice piece of Wedgwood. It's got the commemorative markings and indications on the bottom, as well as the royal seal of both Edward and the Royal House of Windsor there. It's in excellent condition. People are often looking for commemorative pieces, more so now, I think, than in the past, because the recent death of Princess Diana, there's a renewed interest in the royal family and the House of Windsor. So even with Diana items going up in value, it's pulling along the Queen Elizabeths and the King Georges and all those commemorative pieces as well. A piece like this, the fact that it is Wedgwood helps, and the value of it is probably going to be about $75 to $100.
You want to take some bids?
Yes, please.
All right, thank you very much for bringing that by. I appreciate
Thank
that. You did that well.
Thank you. Scandal is my business.
Cedar Crest, New Mexico. That is the spot of today's super collection of seltzer bottles. Let's take a look.
These little bottles were not used to mix with a shot glass. No, these were salesman samples filled with perfume that bottle makers gave to their preferred customers as a sign of appreciation. And when we return, we're going to show you more of these beautiful bottles here in Cedar Crest, New Mexico, coming up next on Personal FX.
Week, break a leg with Backchat as we take a special behind-the-scenes look at some of Broadway's biggest hits. We have exclusive backstage visits at Titanic, Chicago, and The Lion King, all happening on Backchat. Backchat, Sunday, 5:30, 4:30 Central.
The label says 99% fat-free, but inside is the classic taste of original Chef Boyardee. Introducing 99% fat-free Chef Boyardee. If we didn't tell you, you'd never know.
Look what Daddy gets. Looks good, huh? You eat those peas. This is Daddy's.
When you make a Spamburger hamburger,
Ain't all mine.
watch out.
Perfect.
Because the premium pork and ham, spiced to perfection, makes Spam so good, it's gone. Spam, so good, it's gone.
My family wrote the book on stains.
I mean, I have really tough stains.
Then my older sister, my mom, told me about Ultra Biz. I was surprised Biz was a color-safe bleach. This stuff really works. Biz really kicks. Biz saved these jeans. Ultra Biz is the better stain getter.
Look, show me a toothpaste that gives me fluoride and tartar protection, and then maybe I'll listen about getting whiter teeth. Aquafresh Whitening gives you all the fluoride of Crest and reduces tartar buildup. If Aquafresh does all that, then how well does it whiten? Aquafresh's patented Tri-Clean formula gently breaks up stains to help get teeth their whitest. Not regular Colgate, not even Rembrandt can whiten better than Aquafresh Whitening. You can't get better than that. Aquafresh Whitening for healthy, whiter teeth.
When was your last dental checkup? Still thinking? Well, don't put it off any longer. Dr. Doshi, the Diamond Bar dentist, will provide x-rays and a full dental examination for a special introductory price of only $25. That's so much preventative protection for so little, and cosmetic crowns for only $250. That's why Dr. Doshi is the Diamond Bar dentist.
When it comes to fighting insurance companies, Larry H. Parker is a slam dunk.
Insurance companies only look out for themselves.
I needed a tough attorney.
Call the law office of Larry H. Parker now. Whether you have insurance or not, we can help. We've been successful in 91% of our cases.
They'll fight for you.
Let them help you get all you can.
Call the law offices of Larry H. Parker now at 1-800-333-0000. We'll fight for you.
Did you ever sit around and wonder where seltzer water got its name? Wonder no more. That's today's Did You Know? Seltzer water got its name from the German town of Niederselzers, and this town was renowned for its mineral water, which was the first water ever bottled.
Really?
Yes.
I like taking the seltzer water. You add a little milk, you add some, the soda, some ice cream, you get a great ice cream soda.
Wow.
That's what I use seltzer
A little
water
recipe
for.
from Claire Carter there for an ice cream soda. Good enough. Seltzer bottles. These things are very collectible.
And incredibly colorful. They come in all kinds of sizes and shapes.
And there's a great collection out in Cedar Crest, New Mexico, so let us take a look.
We're back with Dwayne Davenport. Dwayne, can you tell us what the first seltzer bottles look like?
Sure, Angela. Here's a good example of one of the first seltzers. This is what they call a seltzogen, or a portable soda fountain, made in the 1860s to the 70s. This bottle is unique in its characteristics in that they would put in acid pellets on the top to cause the catalytic reaction that would cause carbonation for the water in the bottom.
Gosh, it sounds kind of unsafe.
Well, I kind of wondered about it myself.
Now tell us about this piece here. Is it the same time frame we're talking about?
Maybe a few years later, but still from the 1870s roughly, and you can tell by the ground panel on the bottom.
What's that?
Well, the ground panel is a way that you can detect the age of manufacturing, because at that time what they would do when they blew the bottle at the end of the pipe, they would break it when they were finished, and they would have to grind it down to get rid of the rough edges.
Okay, and this one is also unique with the color. It's a really beautiful color. Tell us about that.
Sure is. It's a deep cobalt blue, unlike the peacock blue one that we were looking at earlier, which is actually fairly common for a seltzer bottle. The deep cobalt blues are much tougher to come by.
Is color important to you when collecting?
For me, it's important because I'm looking for color variety.
So is that the rarest color you have?
Actually, I have one that's over here that's a little bit tougher color.
So what's so special about this?
This one's in a burgundy purple. As far as I know, I've not heard of another one in the hobby.
What does the color do to value?
Well, in my mind, it raises it pretty high. I mean, there are no books or price guides in the hobby, so it's hard to say.
What's something like this worth in your estimation?
Oh, I would say it's well over $1,000.
Gosh, where's this come from?
From the Netherlands. This is made for a bottler in Utrecht.
So are most of the pieces in your collection from the Netherlands?
Actually, most of the bottles were made in Czechoslovakia.
Really? Why is that?
Well, because the Czechoslovakians have been world-renowned for their manufacturing techniques over the years. They build real strong bottles, and you need a strong bottle carrying all that carbonation. And also their color and their brightness in their color.
So how do you date these pieces?
Well, in the Czechoslovakian ones, it's easy because Czechoslovakia didn't exist as a country till 1918. So if it says made in Czechoslovakia, you know it's after 1918. And then by the late 30s, we didn't see things coming out of Czechoslovakia with Nazi Germany taking over, and later the Iron Curtain.
So with Czechoslovakia, you basically know it's from this point to this point.
Exactly.
Are these pieces from Czechoslovakia? They're really beautiful with the tulips.
Oh yeah, these were made special by the Czechoslovakians for the Tulip Bottling Company in Johnstown, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
A special order for sure. There's not very many of these as you can imagine in existence because they were only made for one manufacturer.
Now I noticed on this one, you said it's from Johnstown. I can see that on the cap. How important are the caps to your collection? Is that something you really look for and you're specific with?
For me, and I think a lot of other collectors, it's extremely important because it's kind of hard to find the original top with the bottom. They were sent in to be refilled, and sometimes the machinery would be messed up and they'd replace it, or else another bottling house would buy out another one and they'd put their heads on them.
So they're universal caps. You can just switch them on and off.
For the most part, they are.
They get really ornate. I see with this piece it has an eagle on it. That's really interesting.
All the Eastern European bottles that I've been able to come across, fortunately, have that eagle's mouth motif, and I'm not sure of the significance of it, but like I say, most of them do have that.
That's a lot of work just to go into the cap, and looking at these bottles, they really become a work of art. These pieces over here with the bubbles, tell us about those. They look really special.
Well, Angela, I'm particularly proud of these bottles. These are what they call controlled bubbles. You usually only see it in fine art glass. I only know of 4 or 5 of these in the hobby. It's actually a bottle blown inside a bottle, blown inside a bottle, where the bubbles that were introduced in the intermediary process in that.
That is a lot of work for a seltzer bottle.
It sure is.
And just beautiful. Now you have another piece in your collection that's quite unique because it has kind of a scandalous past. Tell us about these here. These were called send-up bottles. Why is that?
Well, they were called send-up bottles because back in the Prohibition, if you were entertaining in a hotel or something, and you wanted to get some liquor, you'd call whoever you called at that time, the bootlegger, and they would send over a fifth of whatever they had, plus some carbonated water. And you could take it up to the privacy of your own room and entertain with that.
So the size of this is a dead giveaway someone was sneaking some liquor up.
Yes, it sure is.
Well, gosh, Dwayne, this is a beautiful, beautiful collection, and I really enjoyed it.
It's been my pleasure, Angela.
Thank you. And Dwayne is always looking for pieces to add to his collection, especially a ruby red. So if you got anything, give us a call at the show, and we'll get you in touch with Dwayne. Back to you guys in New York.
Hey, what do you think of that collection?
Well, I like how they get the bubbles in the bottle.
Yeah.
Never saw that before.
She said it's a work of art, and I got to agree with that.
Out there somewhere, there's got to be somebody with ruby red, John.
Somebody, call the show. Help Dwayne out there.
And we've got some more appraisals coming your way. Stay with us.
Prime. Check out FX for the best prime time on cable. The X-Files at 8.
We are not alone.
NYPD Blue at 9.
How could he stand there and that boy die?
In Living Color at 10.
Bad you love.
Tonight on FX, Foxconn Cable.
Mix 1 packet Hidden Valley Ranch with 1/4 cup oil and 2 pounds potatoes. Shake well, then bake. Hidden Valley Ranch, 1 packet, endless possibilities.
We got married young, and you know what? She still is.
We've always had a great mother-daughter relationship. It's because we take turns being the mother.
She loves life. Nothing seems to slow her down.
Slow down, never. And only new poise pads with side shields have uniquely designed soft sides to stop pad leaks. And no other pad or guard for bladder protection is more absorbent.
She's a great hugger, too.
Like all Poise products, new Poise pads with side shields give you the freedom to be yourself.
I know I shouldn't, but I love them.
Kellogg's Frosted Flakes, too irresistible for adults.
My friends think I'm doing this commercial to help others. Get real. I'm in it for the free samples.
Frosted Flakes have the taste adults have grown to love. They're great.
Let me tell you about fish sticks. They're crunchy, and it tastes really good. You can pick them up. You don't have to chop it up like this, all to pieces. Then you dip it. V-A-N decamps. I usually eat 4 or 5.
Vandicamps, the fish kids like to eat.
You should get your mom to get some.
When you want to say forever, or a job well done, when you need to say thank you, congratulations, or just a simple I love you, the right jewelry says it best.
Diamond Bar Jewelry Mart, 18217 East Gale Avenue in the City of Industry, near the Home Depot, where you'll find the best quality, best selection, biggest savings.
You two-timing son of a...
Honey, what are you doing?
We can fix anything. Walnut Valley Auto Body, a Walnut Valley Collision Center.
Welcome back to Personal FX. There are lots of items up for sale. Let's start out by telling you once again about the Star Trek flight deck. Made by Mego from 1974 with 8 original figures. $700 is the appraised value. We also have a cast iron bank. It's referred to as a still bank, made by Williams from about 1900, worth $80 to $120. And then we have the record albums by Von Meter, who did great impressions of John F. Kennedy. First album is very available. Volumes 1 and 2, $20 to $26. We have a bat that was autographed by Stan Musial. It's a commemorative bat worth $200. And then there's the Art Deco China service from the Bavarian part of Germany. It was made after the turn of the century and worth $150 to $200. The porcelain bowl is from Japan. It is worth $400, hand-painted and glazed. And then there's a biscuit jar that is from the late 1890s, early 1900s, and it is worth $500 to $550. We have a Rolls razor that is from about the 1900s, the teens, 1920s, has the original box with the instructions, worth $25 to $35. And the Wedgwood Sugar Bowl, it commemorates the coronation of Edward VIII. It's from 1937, in excellent condition, and worth $75 to $100. And of course, the auction next week, next Thursday, of memorabilia of the Duke and Duchess of Windsor, something he's going to be having in New York City. So, if you're interested in any of these items, give us a call, 212-802-0082, online, www.fxcable.com. And Brianna is joining us right now. Hi, Brianna. Hi. Nice to have you with us. What grade are you in?
5th.
Yes, and what did you bring to be appraised?
A Navajo rug that my dad bought a few years ago at a tag sale.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. Did he tell you anything more about it?
No.
Okay.
Well, this is typically Navajo. It's got the design, the look, the colors. It was more than likely made for the tourist trade, though, and a few giveaways on that. Oftentimes for tourist trade, they just did very simple black borders to finish items off.
Were these hand done?
They're hand done, and oftentimes they weren't, I won't call it a rush job, but they weren't really dried out or prepared, and that's given away by, you see a lot of the red that's running into the beige here.
Is there anything that can be done for that?
I wouldn't do it because it might affect some of the other coloring. I think pretty much over the years this is also going to be set in. Condition on this piece, it's not the greatest, it's not the worst. It does have some holes here and there. Oftentimes people might have used these for, just throw rugs in entrance hallways.
What's the price?
Well, I'm going to say on this one, in the condition that's in, probably around $65 to $75.
Did you and your dad talk about whether you wanted to put it up for sale?
Yes.
Okay, you gonna do that? We'll do that for you. Thank you so much for being with us today. And next, let's go back out to Cedar Crest, New Mexico, and see what Jimmy would like to have appraised.
Hi, I've brought an ivory statue that has a 16-ball ivory marriage ball on the top. It was commissioned by Hirohito for a friend at the end of World War II. I'd like an appraisal, and I'd like to take some bids.
Is that pretty unusual for a statue?
It's not all that unusual, Claire, and what this is, as you'll see inside all this carving, are a lot of smaller balls, and what happens is the artisan would carve a ball, within a ball, etc., etc., etc. You can not imagine the amount of work that goes into this, hours and hours.
Does this tell a story of any kind, or it's just a sculpture?
A lot of it, I'm sure, tells a story and refers back to Japanese fables and folklore and such. Tons of work. The Emperor Hirohito commission, I'd have to be a little bit wary about that because we don't really have provenance as to who commissioned this or whether it was a mass-produced piece. But I don't know if we could zoom in to the top again, but you can see just the intricate work there. I mean, to be able to carve something within something. I mean, I couldn't imagine where to even start for a piece like this.
But there were a number of these done at the time.
There are a number of these, both balls and squares and rings, all kinds of things.
Appraise it for us.
It's a good size piece, which is to its advantage. I'm going to say between $300 and $500.
Okay, very good. And John, tossing this over to you.
All righty, Bernice is up next to have something appraised. Hi, Bernice, how you doing?
Hi, John.
Everything's going okay?
Wonderful.
Good. What do you got
Great to be here. Well, I brought two Minton seafood plates, which I have had in my possession for about 25 years, I think.
Otherwise known as
longer.
Oyster plates? Is that right? Same thing?
Well, I never wanted to call them oyster plates because these shapes were not really in the shape of oysters.
Okay.
But I could be wrong.
Let's find out.
In the trade, we kind of refer to this type of plate as an oyster plate. These are particularly nice. I happen to really like these a lot. Minton is an important manufacturer of wares like this. It's an English manufacturing company begun by Thomas Minton in 1793. Now these are about 1873, I would say, by the back stamps that we see here and imported into this country. The Majolica styling, we refer to this kind of naturalistic, opaque ware with tin or lead-based glaze in multicolor as kind of a Majolica-like styling.
So what do you think?
What I think is to get prime price, you would have to have a set of 6, 8, or 12. However, these plates are collected individually, and each of these plates could sell anywhere from $125 to $175 a piece.
Okay. Do you want to take some bids?
I'll I'll entertain some bids,
All right.
as they say.
Well, at that price, you can call them whatever you want to. If you
Yes.
want to call them seafood plates, you go right ahead.
Okay, John.
All right, good enough.
Thank you.
And back out in Cedar Crest, New Mexico, Margaret has something that she'd like to have appraised, so let's take a look and see what it is.
Hi, I've brought a bracelet that was given me a friend of mine about 15 years ago. Her husband was in the military and they were in Japan in the 50s where she purchased it. Each little frame has a different picture that I believe is done in gold and silver. And it's got a chain that holds it together so it won't fall off your arm. I would like an appraisal and I'd love to take some bids.
Have at it.
Very nice. After World War II, certainly, and of an Oriental flavor, probably made somewhere in the Orient. It is more than likely vermeil. Now, because I can't touch it, I'm not positive of that, but this type of thing that I've seen before is a silver base with a 24-karat overlay. And that is what we refer to as vermeil.
Oh, okay.
Now, these little discs may have been some kind of like metal finishing process to make it black, something similar to an anodized finish, or perhaps it's a lacquer which has been scratched away with the design. Ordinarily, in these Asian pieces, the piece will tell a story. In other words, you'll start at one end and be able to decipher a story from one end to the other with the little, you know, picture discs.
Value?
Value, $40.
All right, there you go, $40. Very interesting. And of course, we'll remind you folks that she is taking bids. All right, stay with us, folks, because when Personal FX returns, we have a lot more appraisals coming your way, and I got a question for you. Who is in bed and sleeping with Rosie O'Donnell, Glenn Close, and Barbara Streisand? What am I talking about? We'll find out when Personal FX returns. Ho!
The Super Collectors, hosted by John Burke. It's the FX show with the neatest stuff from all over the country.
Fantastic.
You're not kidding. It's collections and the people who do the collecting. And FX wants to show it all to you. Hot, hot, hot. Oh yeah, because this is FX coming at you in daytime. The Super Collectors, every day at 1 p.m. noon Central on FX.
My dad hates fried chicken. He hates it. Well, my mom figured out the secret to juicy chicken. It's called shake and bake, and it keeps the juice from getting out. We cooked it one time, and it was so juicy inside. He just tasted it, and he said, "Wow, it's so juicy. What is that?" I said, "It's chicken."
Shake and bake is the secret to juicy chicken.
Hey, could you shut your lid?
Well, what for? I'm using Vanish Blue.
Yeah, well, too bad your germs didn't vanish.
Huh?
You need new improved Clorox Automatic. With so much Clorox bleach, it kills 99.9% of germs with every flush.
New Clorox Automatic Toilet Cleaner.
They say 8 glasses of water a day can do wonders for your skin. But is there even more we can do? Tests prove one moisturizer hydrates thirsty skin for a clear, translucent look. And the name? Olay Beauty Fluid from Oil of Olay.
Right now, you can borrow up to $150,000 with a no-equity second mortgage and pay absolutely no closing costs. You could buy rental property, jump on a hot stock, join a country club, whatever you want. Just call 1-800-71-FIXED. With your good credit, Ditech can help you to leverage the full value of your home and loan you up to $150,000 on a no-equity second mortgage with absolutely no closing costs. It all adds up to smart money from Ditech Funding. Call now, 1-800-71-FIXED.
Is IAMS good for life? Well, research suggests cats can lower your blood pressure and help their owners live longer, healthier lives. In return, help your cat live a long, healthy life. The wholesome ingredients in IAMS are more digestible, so more nutrition stays in your cat, and cats love the taste. IAMS Cat Foods, good for life, from the IAMS Company. Now, for a limited time, look for specially marked IAMS cat and dog food bonus bags at participating IAMS retailers.
Let me tell you about fish sticks. They're crunchy, and it tastes really good. You can pick them up. You don't have to chop it up like this, all to pieces. Then you dip it. V-A-N decamps. I usually eat 4 or 5.
Vandicamps, the fish kids like to eat.
You should get your mom to get some.
We want you to be our guest.
Join us in the FX apartment and have an item appraised. All you have to do is give us a call at 1-800-FX-FX-FX1.
Welcome back to Personal FX. This Sunday night, celebrity character bears like these are going on the auction block for charity. And joining us right now is Scott Stevens from Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS, the creator of the event. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Claire.
We know teddy bears are always collectible. These bears are absolutely fabulous.
Thanks.
What kind of response have you gotten?
The response has been amazing. I mean, they're all Broadway costume recreations. This is Barbra Streisand from Funny Girl, which is signed right here. And Rosie O'Donnell had this one on her show herself.
Right.
Okay, I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, there it is. She had this one on her show, and she bid $10,000 for this one.
Already $10,000?
Already, not to scare people, because this happens to be Rosie's personal favorite. You know.
I know. If you love a particular celebrity, you're going to want that bear.
Absolutely.
Let's take a look at what makes these so wonderful and special. Tell me
Okay,
about this one.
this is Glenn Close and Sunset Bear Lavard. We try to give them these clever little names, as scary as that may be.
And it bears her signature?
It bears her signature, if you can bear that, okay?
Can we lift up her skirt? Is that okay?
Yes, well, I love to lift up her skirt. I shouldn't even say that, should I? Glenn Close, right there on the feet. Okay, she signed this one. We have photos of them with them and everything else. But this is a recreation of her costume in Sunset Boulevard.
What a marvelous costume.
And used, you know, this one's got the original materials that were used in that costume, as do many of them.
Let's take a look, because we got
And
some
you've got-
fabulous costumes and
you've
how
got
they
two right
add to
here.
the value.
Absolutely.
Right here.
Now, Chorus Line, which was the longest running musical on Broadway for years, this is original costume materials from that, okay?
Little smaller costume.
Little smaller, but hand beading, all the hand beading for both of these. They're both beaded. This
The
is
stitching is wonderful.
unbelievable.
And with Chorus Line, they were known for the top hats.
Yes, and Woody Shelp, the original hat designer, did the hats for these as well, for both of these bears, as a matter of
I love
fact.
this. I fell in love with this
This is
one
the King and I,
personally.
Yul Berenner. Okay, obviously he couldn't sign it, but who do we have? Jerome Robbins signed that one.
And what is special about this? Because tell me about
Again,
the materials
the
used.
material here is Yul Brenner's, left over from the costume that the Barbara Matera Limited had in their shop still.
The actual material that was
materials.
used, and they also recreated
The hat, all the beading, all the way down to the slippers down here.
This is so
Yeah, the whole
adorable.
9 yards. They've missed nothing.
And I love the spectacles. Tell me about this bear.
Well, this is a great bear because this was done by the receptionist in our shop, in our organization, Broadway Cares. And this is Ben Franklin in 1776. The glasses are actual antiques that were donated from a gentleman who runs an antique shop for eyeglasses specifically.
You got to see all the details.
Yeah, this is the walking stick, which was whittled down from a cherry branch. Okay.
And I love the materials,
The materials,
on his costume.
yep, all authentic. The gout booty, the hair, the whole 9 yards.
Oh, you got to
as
see
I
the
said.
hair.
The hair
I
is
just got to
great.
turn him around.
Oh, turn him around.
The hair is just fabulous.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we have
There's
Miss
no
Carol
guessing
Channing.
left here.
Hello, Dolly.
This is Lacage right here, and this one in the red is Carol Channing, and she had us change the mouth 3 times. Okay, she
To
said,
get it right?
Oh, because they gave her a very nice, dainty mouth, and she said, I don't put on my lipstick like that. I just do this, you know. So they changed the mouth 3 times for her.
Celebrities were very willing to get involved. Tell
Absolutely,
us more about
and this was the first
auction.
one. This was the first one
Is
done.
this Sunday night?
This Sunday night, the 15th, it's at the Hudson Theater, okay, on 44th Street, I believe, but I believe you have all that information as well. And we're taking phone bids, which is real important. Minimum bids are $500.
Phone bids and fax bids. So if
Phone
people want to
bids.
contact the show, we'll put you in touch.
Absolutely, and we would appreciate that.
This
And
is terrific.
It's great, and it's going over very, very well. We're very pleased. It's the first time for us.
I wish you good luck.
Thank you very
And
much.
I must point out, and John, I must point out, my very favorite musical, Man of La Mancha. Here's this little bear that commemorates one of the all-time great musicals of all time. Hope the auction goes great.
Thanks, Claire.
What do you think, John?
I like the Ben Franklin bear.
Did you?
Yeah. He's got a receding bear line. Okay, let's turn to the mailbag now. Betty from Leesville, Louisiana wrote in and said enclosed are pictures of a lamp that I received in 1970. Now the lamp measures 17 inches tall and weighs about 4.5 pounds. It's made of white milk glass with gold painted flowers on the base and shade. The lamp has a glass cylinder on the top for the light bulb and it's in working condition.
I don't believe the lamp has a lot of collectible value, John. It looks like it's typical of 1960s, early 1970s, made to look like the old-fashioned Gone with the Wind style lamps and lamps from a much earlier era. But lamps of this vintage aren't really commanding huge prices.
Very true, from what I've found in the marketplace. Beautiful decorator piece, if that's fits your decor and you want an electrified version of an old-looking piece.
So the value on that?
As more of a practical piece than a collectible piece, $15, $20.
Agreed?
Yeah, $20, $30. That'd go a little higher.
All right. 15 up to 30. There you go, Betty. All right, Lisa from Santa Barbara, California is on the telephone right now. Hi, Lisa. How you doing?
Hi, John. Greetings from El Nino land.
Sorry to hear about that. Thanks for being on the phone. What would you like to have appraised?
I have this utensil that my mother bought in the late 40s, and I think she probably paid about 10 cents for it. And as I told you in the letter, we didn't know what it was. People thought it was an egg beater or a meat tenderizer. And I was in Perth in Western Australia, and in a little museum just north of there, I saw it hanging on the wall.
All right. Lisa, let me jump in here because I don't want to run out of time. I want our appraisers to really have at it. What do you two think of this?
I think this is some kind of scouring device, and by that leather strap, it looks like you can really hang on to it and get to work there.
Rich?
A definite industrial strength scouring device, good for the open road, and I'm talking big pots, John. Probably dates from the earlier part of the century. Value, about $100 because it is so unusual.
I've seen these sell at auction, so I would have to say a little bit less, probably $50, $60.
Okay. Well, Lisa, do you want to take bids on this? What are you thinking?
Oh, no, we're going to keep it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, and good luck with El Nino.
All right, bye.
All right, folks, don't go anywhere, because when we return, we've got those big bids. Stay with us.
This week on FX Major Movie Sunday, Brad Pitt.
He said I was going to start a band. That's what I'm going to do.
In his first starring role, Johnny Suede, Sunday at 8 on FX.
I'm a big kid, look what I can do. I can make a garden grow like a big kid too.
Big news for your big kid. Pull-Ups training pants now have Minnie Mouse on them, just like big kid underwear. Kids will want to wear them.
Mommy, wow! I'm a big kid now.
Does a French woman ever have a bad hair day?
Some shampoos seem to wear out after a while. Not new Tresemme changes. A special combination of cleansers adjusts each time you shampoo, so your hair may never get tired of Tresemme changes.
And every day is a good hair day.
Professional, affordable Tresemme.
Oops, heavens. I'm a thrill seeker, mister. Impress me.
Well, I'm an elf.
You expect me to fall for that?
Maybe you'll fall for a club cracker.
I risked wind shear and migrating fowl for a cracker?
Our club crackers are so light and buttery, they're nothing short of amazing.
Wow, so buttery. Unbelievable. People must love these.
Yes, sir. We drop in all the time.
Really? How do they get down? Keebler Club crackers. Uncommonly good.
It's our first big sale of the year at Billiards and Barstool's Direct Factory Outlet. You're not going to believe this one, folks, but it's true. Pool tables starting at $3.99, and that's no mistake, you heard right. Plus, while they last, solid oak bar stools for $69. At this price, you can buy them by the dozen. We're a factory outlet with factory direct prices to you. We can't and won't be undersold. Hurry in while they last. Billiards and Barstools off the 60 Freeway, Industry.
The all-time #1 pro football coach won 68% of his games, but you know what?
The law offices of Larry H. Parker have an even more impressive record than that. We've been successful in 91% of our cases, and we won't charge you a dime if we don't get you any money. Call the law offices of Larry H. Parker now. We have over 20 years' experience. We can tell you if you have a case right on the phone.
I'm glad I called Larry Parker first.
Call us now. Whether you have insurance or not, let us fight for you.
Welcome back to Personal FX. Wasting no time, let's get right into these big bids. And Jamie, I want to let you know for your Star Trek flight deck, Jenny from Nashville, Tennessee has offered you $800.
I'd like to think about it.
Okay. Bill with the Cast Iron Bank. Gene from Las Vegas, Nevada has offered you $202.
Sold.
So it is. Richard with the record albums. Richard from Nevada, Montana has offered you $40.25.
I'll hang on to them.
All right. Kenny with the autographed bat. Cindy from Short Gap, West Virginia has called in with an offer of $125.
Sold.
There it is. Marie with the Art Deco China service set. Eric from San Francisco, California has called in with an offer of $150.
I'll think about it.
All right.
Rhoda with your biscuit jar. We have an email bid from Frank from University Park, Maryland for $451.
I'll think about it.
And Janice for the Rolls Razor. Larry from Montrose, Colorado is offering you $80.
I'll think about it.
Okay, Jane for the Wedgwood Sugar Bowl. We have an offer from Kathy from Bayville, New York, $200.
I'll think about it.
Wow.
Brianna for your Navajo rug. Roger from Grand Forks, North Dakota would like it for $82.
Sold.
And Bernice from the Oyster Place. We have an email bid from Frank from University Park, Maryland, $276.
For both?
That's it. Yes.
I'll think about it.
Please do. And let's go back out to New Mexico to say thank you to Angie.
We'd just like to thank Dwayne for sharing his beautiful collection with us. Thank you so much, Dwayne.
My pleasure, Angela, and thanks to everybody from FX. You guys have been great to work with.
Oh, we appreciate it. And that's it from Cedar Crest, New Mexico.
All right, tomorrow Angie's going to be in Santa Fe, and we get to see a super collection of authentic cowboy memorabilia. Should be good.
So make the most of your day. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.
So long, everybody.
It's mystical. It's memorable. And it's affordable, with rooms available from just $39. Excalibur, escape to value. Call now for reservations.